and just to think of where we started to that moment, like I'll never ever forget that. Because then at that point I knew I'm like, we're on to something here. Like this is legit. You know what I mean? Like to where we've started to from pretty much nothing to that moment. It was so cool. Like I wish people could experience that because it was something that I will never ever ever forget. It was awesome.
And that was around the time that you got the call for PWG, which you were the first guy that really made a name for himself in Beyond Wrestling that then got to go wrestle for PWG. And I mean, we've been lucky to have other guys since then. You know, whether or not people consider Gulak to be a Beyond Wrestling guy, I mean, I feel like at that time he was doing some of his best work with us. You know, Dan and Bill have had the opportunity to go over. I guess what were some of the other organizations that you really wanted to work with? Was there anything, you know, were there any that you held in higher regard than others that were like, you know, this is a goal, or was it more just like, we'll see where my career takes me? Or were there certain goals to get into certain organizations, and was PWG one of them?
Yeah, Gorilla was definitely top of the list. I remember leaving Lance's school and kind of not knowing what I was going to do as far as my wrestling goes, and I started to hear about PWG. You know, I'd read about them online, and I remember I sent him an email, you know, hey, I would like to have an opportunity. And I didn't know, you know.
Right.
I just sent him an email. I didn't hear anything until, you know, what was it, 3 years later when he finally sent me the email saying I could work there, and it was for bowling. That was definitely a huge goal, man, to work for.
Do you think there was anybody in particular that went to bat for you? Was it just by that time you were just building your reputation across the country? Or?
I honestly think, man, that just working for Beyond Wrestling, and then obviously I think CCW as well, just those two companies, and just I think that the powers that be at PWG, they watch everything online, you know what I mean? They
Evolve at that point, too. We kind of glossed over that.
Yeah, I think I was just starting with Evolve a little bit that time. I'm trying to think of what year it was. The first Evolve show I did was against Gulak at the Style Battle. I think it was 2013. We had a really, really good match. It was probably one of the best matches I think we ever had. So that was probably a really big deciding factor, too. But I'd say the big three of Beyond, CCW, and Evolve, just at that time, I think PWG took notice. And, man, what a special place PWG is. You want to talk about the crowd at Beyond, that's what PWG has as well. And I think they're a little bit more evolved at this point than Beyond is, but Beyond is nipping at their heels as far as being that type of special thing. Just because, I mean, how many years do they have on you? I mean,
they just ran their 11th anniversary show. We've only been doing live shows, I mean, really at Fete Music just over 2 years.
And it's just nuts because you see what PWG has done, and it's like, see Beyond this.
I mean, dude, you go through those old lineups. It's like a who's who of who's wrestling now.
It's nuts, man. And Beyond, it's just it's almost creepy to see how similar the path is with it. You know what I mean? And like I said before,
do you think they have an advantage being in Hollywood, or do you just think that that's
that area? I mean, and again, you said how long they were there. They've established that area. I mean, what you said? We're 3 years now.
I mean, our first live event was July of 2011. So
yeah, so I mean, we're headed there, definitely, if not going to surpass it. But like I said before, working at Beyond in front of the crowd at Fete, like if I would have worked that receded crowd without being at Fete, I wouldn't have been ready at all. You know what I mean? It just would have.
Do you get the same type of freedom at PWG?
Yeah. PWG is go out there and do your thing. You know what I mean? Just make it happen. And again, being at Beyond prepared me for that. And I don't think I had an unbelievable run at PWG, but as far as just not completely shitting the bed, I think just working at Beyond prepared me for that type of style of wrestling.
But there's no question that your popularity exploded once you got there.
Oh yeah.
That's when it really went to the next level. That's when you became somebody whose trajectory went from, you know, let's say May of 2011, a virtual unknown regardless of your pedigree, to 3 years later, you've done it all in independent wrestling.